Much for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. I know you probably have a very busy schedule, it's just like everyone, so I really appreciate that you make the time to listen in and to see what's going on in the world of cycling in Flanders, because as the title says, we are really a cycling destination par excellence, where we're like the home of cycling is located in the world. Quick overview before we dive into cycling specific issues. Just again, a quick recap. You've probably seen the slide a few times, but for the newbies maybe, what exactly is Flanders? It is basically a state within the country of Belgium. It's a northern Dutch-speaking state, not very big, roughly the size of Connecticut. And the six major cities, Brussels, Antwerp, Bruges, Ghent, Leuven, and Mechelen. And maybe also in terms of geography, where is the cycling? Since we already have the map up, literally all over the place. It's not limited to a particular area. It's literally all over Flanders. It's all over Belgium. So today's topic, Flanders, a cycling destination par excellence. What we will do is just a very quick general overview, then dive into various aspects of cycling interests and cycling skills. Talk a little bit about the very unique route system that we have, and then also wrap it up with a look at a couple of races that are going on there. So it's really like the whole spectrum of cycling in the destination. So in general, you can really say that Flanders is a region that can really provide you with a cycling, a vacation experience that's all year long, all around. It's not limited to a particular season, although of course most popular seasons are spring, summer, and fall, but you can definitely also cycle in winter. If you're the outdoorsy type of person, you will really find a mostly flat, tranquil countryside environment that is really enhanced with national parks, woods, rolling hills, canals, rivers, forests. So even though it's really like flat, it's still very, very interesting. In general, Flanders really shares an enthusiasm for everyday cycling. Typically in North America, when you talk to people and you talk about cycling in Europe, the country or the city that comes to mind first are actually our colleagues up north in Holland and Amsterdam. So everybody thinks, oh, the Dutch, they cycle a lot. But it is exactly the same thing in Flanders. No difference at all. The Flemish cities are really built and geared towards a bicycle scale, meaning that we really take into account all the different needs that cyclists have. Cycling is really firmly embedded in everyday life. People go to school on a bicycle, they go to work on a bicycle, they do sports on a bicycle, they go shopping on a bicycle, they haul their kids around from kindergarten, pick them up. And there's even special facilities for cyclists in terms of bicycle parking. If you've ever seen a train station, there's just rows and rows and rows of bikes. Or if you are a cyclist that's on a vacation, there's special hotels that cater to the cyclists, but we will really get into that a little bit later. Let's talk about what really makes cycling unique in a destination is that we really offer cycling for all skill and interest levels. So these are two very important words that will stay with us for the next couple of minutes. So let's first of all dive into the skill level and also take a look at this picture of this cyclist here. He will show up one more time later on. You might notice he's actually missing a certain skill, but I'll get to that in a moment. So what I mean by cycling for all skill and interest levels is that you will probably agree with me that there is a wide variety of cycling skills out there that people have, that travelers have, that guests have. Some might just be up for a 2 or 3 hour totally leisurely cycling ride, and anything beyond 3 hours, that's not for them because they may not have the interest, they might not have the physical stamina to endure a longer cycling ride. It depends. And on the other extreme, then there's the cycling enthusiasts and the cycling professionals. They just can't get enough cycling. For them, 2 or 3 hours is just a leisurely warm-up, and then they're really hitting the road, and they're out there the whole day, getting the miles in, getting the kilometers in, and even if you want to do them semi-professional or professional, then you're really out there for the week, 5, 6 days, and you cycle. So we have the whole bandwidth of experiences for all skill levels, from super easy, just 2 or 3 hours in the city, to really hardcore, knock yourself out, and everything in between. Let's talk about the hardcore cycling enthusiasts. So these are the people, I would say, that own a $10,000 custom-built carbon fiber bike. They belong to a cycling club. They're out there Saturday, Sunday, getting the miles in. If you have any clients that fall into this category, by all means and purposes, bring the whole cycling club over to Flanders. We love those guys. We have the routes, we have the DMCs, we got the transportation companies, just hire a local van company that hauls your luggage. And then all the guys or girls are doing the cyclists are out there cycling, and the van company hauls your luggage to the next hotel, next destination, and you don't need to worry about anything. You can even hire a mechanic, then that follows the group just in case something happens. You're all covered. You can do it in bigger groups or in smaller groups. So it's really something for the hardcore enthusiast. Be out there, be in the countryside, be in the suburbs, and then just go cycle, even on the iconic cobblestones of the Tour of Flanders. It's sports for everyone, for the young, for the old, for male, for female. Really, everybody can participate. There are absolutely no barriers whatsoever. On the other extreme, the leisurely bike ride, either in the cities or on the bike path, along the canals. They're flat, they're super easy, cycle out to the windmills, pack up the kids and the family. And you're basically on a cycling network that is very easy to navigate. As you can see, there's no cars. There's just bike paths for cyclists. It's all signposted, easy to navigate. And we'll get into that a little bit later. The whole cycling network, just for cyclists, is about 7,500 miles long. And it also connects to international cycling road networks into Germany, into France, into Holland. Also, cycling in terms of skill level, if just coming back to our original picture, if you're missing a certain skill, meaning you have a special need or a handicap and it doesn't allow you to ride a regular bicycle, then making the destination accessible for everyone is really like a big important project for our government, that we work with bike rental stores to make sure that people with a physical handicap can still enjoy the destination, so that you can rent bikes where you can just like lie down and then you cycle and paddle with your hands. And that's the previous guy. It's like if it was not previously so obvious what his handicap was. Again, we want to make sure all those people can really enjoy the destination, and we do really work hard with those bicycle stores and rental companies to make sure everyone can really have a great cycling vacation in our destination. Let's now move on and talk about cycling for all interest levels, because people might have different interests in terms of cycling. Some prefer maybe to cycling in the city. Some might just do out in the countryside on the road. Some might just prefer to participate in a race or watch a race. Some might be into a BMX. Some might be into cyclocross. And others might just want to combine it with other activities. So in the city, it's really easy to rent a bike, just similar to, for example, what we have in New York, where you can just go and in public places and rent a bike. You can also very easily do that in Flanders, for example, like here, a photo from Antwerp, number of bike rental places available throughout the city. Just rent the bike for 2 or 3 hours and then just return it whenever you're done. Very easy to rent a bike. or you're just out there because you want to get some fresh air out in the countryside. Just take your time, cycle around, maybe get away from the quote-unquote busy city and just be out there in nature. You might want to do BMX. There's a couple of BMX race tracks out there. We've now twice hosted the BMX World Championships in the last couple of years. Great infrastructure there. If you're into cyclocross, then you can also find tracks for cyclocross racing. That photo was actually taken from the Sven Nys Cyclocross Experience Center. If you're a little bit familiar, Sven Nys was the world champion in cyclocross. He retired a few years ago. You can also do indoor track racing. Very famous race, 6 Days of Ghent, is held, as the name says, in Ghent, and it lasts for 6 days. So we do have indoor tracks available that you can be on. You can cycle through water. There's a particular location in the northeastern corner of Flanders where they have really nice cycling routes throughout the nature. And one of the tracks actually leads you through the water. And another one in the same neighborhood is cycling through trees. So there's actually an elevated road network that leads you through various trees in the forest. You can go to a cycling museum and experience, see what the bikes looked way back when, 100 years ago. It's a great way to really re-engage with all the different aspects of cycling, of racing. A number of different museums out there that really offer a broad spectrum of different experiences that you can really dive into and relive all those iconic races in a destination. Or, of course, you can combine it with food. There's a lot of bicycle tours out there that combine cycling and food experiences, cycling and beer experiences. So it's, again, a great way to connect with the destination. Let's just quickly look at the different routes that we have available. As I said, the whole system is basically based on a cycling network. Here you can see a sign on the right-hand side, and it's basically a sign with numbers. And what does it actually mean? It basically means that the whole cycling road network in Flanders, in Belgium, was actually numbered. All the different roads are numbered. And then when you plan your route, you can basically just look at those ingenious signposting system, plan your preferred route in advance. You can use maps to do that, apps to do that, and then all you do need to remember is the actual route number. And as I said previously, the whole cycling network is about 7,500 miles long, so an abundance of great cycling. Here's a quick map of what the cycling network looks like. So you can see there's numbers. And it's at the planning tools online. The apps are really great. You just put your route together and then you get a printout or just take notes, and all you do remember is the actual route number that you're on. And when you get to an intersection, you just get onto the new route. So no worries about, oh my God, in that village, I need to take the third road on the right, and that was Main Street, and then maybe after another 500 feet, I need to turn left. It's, oh my God, I can't remember that. No, don't worry about that. Just look at the numbers, and you're all good. You're all set to go. We also have a range of thematic loops, cycling loops. These are based on various themes, for example, a beer theme, architecture, or a painter like Rubens, or castles. There's a number of easy routes available that are really suitable for beginners and families, but also longer ones for the more advanced cyclists as well. Talking about longer routes, there's also a number of long-distance cycling routes available, which are characterized by the LF signs in Dutch, as you can see here on the slide. And these are basically right now about 10 routes that provide almost 1,000 miles of long-distance cycling. If you're up for the task, by all means, go for that. It's a great experience. In addition, with other assets, resources that we have available, we have over 400 hotels, bed and breakfast places, campsites, youth hostels, and tourism for all centers that really cater to the cyclists. What does it actually mean, cater to the cyclist? It means that they're situated within a maximum of 3 miles or 5 kilometers from an official cycling route. They offer special services for cyclists, for example, secure bike storage, bike repair kits, cycling maps, bicycles for hire, and of course, comfortable bed where you can rest your leg and your head. Let's wrap this up and quickly look at a couple of races. Bicycle racing is very, very big in Flanders. There's a lot of races that happen throughout the year. The most iconic one, of course, is the Tour of Flanders. There's also a race museum there in the arrival city of Oudenaarde. It's a unique visitor experience center where you can really like plunge into the atmosphere and the history of this great cycling race. There's also a way to actually do your own Tour of Flanders. This is all signposted, and you can actually put your amateur race together. And on the day before the official race, you can actually sign up and then ride sections of the Tour of Flanders. There's various lengths available from approximately 50 kilometers to 100, 150 kilometers. And you need to sign up a couple of months before, and then you can race the same section that the professionals will ride in the following day. And of course, the Tour of France is also a frequent guest, frequent visitor in the destination. Just this year, the first 2 stages were held in Flanders, in Belgium, because of the 50-year anniversary of the first Tour de France win of Eddy Merckx. So it's a great way to see a professional race. It's really an atmosphere out there second to none. People are lined up on the side. They're really like supporting the riders and cheering them up. And if you think, oh my God, these are all just Belgian guys, these are all just Flemish guys. No, no, no. These are really some international audience. People are from there, the US, the UK, from all around the world. There's different sections out there where people just get together, put up their chairs. They can eat fries, they can get a beer, and then just wait until the race is passed by, and then they cheer them up. So it's a really, really great atmosphere. Because in the end, we want to see the winner. We want to see how great they did. We want to cheer them up to make it to the podium, first, second, or third place. But last but not least, I said participating, being there, just enjoying the atmosphere is great. So a lot of cycling opportunities in Flanders. With that being said, let's get ready for cycling. Let's get up, let's get out of bed and gear up for cycling in Flanders. Thanks so much for listening in. My name, as said, is Marco Frank, and I'm actually the trade manager for North America. Small correction, Doug, you said US, but North America includes US and Canada. So yes, I do cover Canada as well.
Okay, great. Well, I stand corrected. Thank you, Marco, for a great presentation. Seems as though Flanders is a cycling destination par excellence. Just a reminder for everybody before we go into questions that this webinar is being recorded. So if you do need to go back and research anything that Marco has gone over, you can do that at our website, www.jacksfax.com. Underneath Agent Training, that should be up by early next week. And now let me jump into questions here. Marco, we have one question for you. Are there any specific bike tour companies that you recommend?
There are. I mean, there's a number of different companies. There are some US-based companies, for example, Backroads that put bike tours together. But there's also a number of local Belgian companies that can be used. And depending on what the specific needs are, if you feel comfortable putting your own routes together, you can hire a local van company as well, and then just put your own tour together. The good thing is we have a very good resource brochure online. If you just go to our website, visit flanders.com. go to the brochure section, download our cycling brochure. It lists a number of tour operators that are active in the field of cycling, and it's primarily focused on domestic Belgian companies. But as I said, there's also some US companies like Backroads that can be used to book a trip to our destination.
Excellent. Waiting on other questions. Right now, I do not see anything else. Apparently, you covered everything in your presentation. Well done.
All right. Thank you very much. If you do have any other questions, by all means, get in touch with me. My email is right here, marco.frank@visitflanders. And maybe just a quick FYI, my apologies if I don't get back to you right away. I will officially be off until next Wednesday, just taking a prolonged weekend, but then again, back in business, back in the saddle, so to speak, next Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Great. Actually, I do have a couple more questions that just popped in here, Marco, if you're still there.
All right.
All right.
Okay, sure.
Is it easy to rent bikes in Flanders?
Yeah. So it's easy to rent bikes. There's a number of different bikes available for rental. Just regular city bikes in the city. There's trekking bikes available. There's even high-end race bikes available. For example, like Eddie Merckx, the iconic cyclist, has his own bicycle manufacturing company. And a question that I do get a lot as well, are there pedalics, like pedal assist electric bikes available? Yes, those can also be rented. I just did a tour in March on an electrical bike, and it's wonderful. Not that personally I want to do that all the time. I fall more into the category of the hardcore cycling enthusiast. So I do still love it hardcore, bare bones, without an engine, without an electrical motor. But I have to say that bike was pretty sweet. I did like that one.
Super. One last question. Somebody's asking if there are any bike fams. I guess does the tour sport ever do any bike fams?
So we've done bike fams in the past, but these were only focused on bicycle tour operators. If there are any travel advisors interested in a more sporty themed or bicycle themed fam trips, please let me know. The fam trips for travel advisors are typically more general, meaning we do a little bit of everything, but there isn't a bike focused one yet. But if I do get enough interest, enough people, by all means, I'm open to hosting one.
Perfect. Fair enough. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Marco, thank you for a great presentation. And travel professionals, thank you all for taking the time to join us today. We look forward to having you join us again in future training sessions. But until then, goodbye for now.
Goodbye.